So today I'm prepping because Wednesday we're going to start welding the box. So this is where we're going to start the weld. So it's going to be a 4 by 10 foot. And it's going to rest just right here. We're going to tack weld it or weld it from the inside. So that's why I'm getting up more over here and not worried about down there as much. Plus it's really hard to get to there, so exterior welding it, and then also you see how it's not even, so welding it from the outside would be very hard to do or require a significant amount of prep work, so that's why we're not doing it that way.
So in this picture you can see we framed out how the box is going to look. So once we do this frame, we're going to clamp all the sheet metal to it, and then you'll see over time I end up adding a lot more cross bracing because it was a decent strong wind, so I had to keep cross bracing it because it was leaning and shifting. And it's a little difficult because there's no. Hey, so I did teach myself how to weld with this project. In this picture is my very first weld. I promise you the end result isn't that bad. I did a lot of grinding though, and this project probably took a lot longer because of my welding skills. So these are the first sheets that I put up. These sheets are 4 foot by 10 feet long. They weigh about 100 pounds and they're a little floppy. They flop around. So I just kind of threw it on that lip and I clamped it to it, and it held it really well, to be honest. And then I put some welds on the bottom. Again, my first weld, it took forever. Forever. Okay, I probably spent all day on each side. Now you'll see throughout the video a lot of the bracing I have on the outside to brace the metal to it. It changes throughout as I'm experimenting of different ways to do it because I've never done anything like this before. So I had to kind of, oh, I got an idea, let's try it. So I'm standing in the cab area and I'm looking back. So that's kind of how it seems. So it's a fairly large space. Okay, so I got one of the top sheets up. This and both the upper sides. Um, this upper sides, I kind of had a rig and ratchet strap it up through it, so that wasn't too bad. But the top, I did the old school method. You'll see I made a little ladder. I pulled it up, and as it sat back down on each ladder rail. And then after I got it up, I just laid on the ground and cried on the inside because my body was done, and I exerted a lot of my strength to get it there. So I highly recommend you have a friend and you actually call them. I'm too stubborn to do that. I don't know why. I just don't like asking people for help. I know I'm stubborn. So here it is at a different angle. You can see that ladder that I have there. And then you can see I also have more cross bracing here than before because it was starting to feel that wind and shift. So I had to reshift it over to make sure that it was square. Also, as I was building this out and finishing up some weld sections, I started putting the permanent framing in. And so here you can see the framing, and then big IBC tanks are going to get slid into there that'll hold fresh water and gray water for when we're camping out in the middle of nowhere. So once I got to this point, I was trying to build motivation to do that second top piece, but I decided to switch over, do something easier, and I started working on the cab part. So you can see I put a slight angle back on the cab. It was 90 degrees is where the windshield is, and it's probably like a 75 degrees on that first piece. So I put a second piece on here, and then it will also expand out. There is going to be a gap between the cab and the box. They have independent suspension, so you can't build them directly to each other, or else it's going to twist and rip the weld. We continued with the cab, so I'm just building the piece of right above the car door. That's just a straight rectangle, nothing fancy there. So as you can see, I added another piece for the left side of it. I am a big believer in keeping things simple. And a lot of the things I measure it in place and then make the cuts. I don't try to draw out this stuff. Drawing out this stuff would be very complicated very fast because it's a 3D thing. Um, and sometimes I like just going by looks and going with it as you go. So here I add the right rear of the door, that little flare out there. So that's like out at a 45-degree angle. And that's to make it match closer with the cab. I mean the bed area. So now you can see I added that triangle piece. Once I added this, it really started solidifying it up a lot better. And then also it made it start to look a lot better as well. Now, once I get to this point, you can finally see like, hey, look, it looks like I know what I'm doing, kind of, right? So I got the other side of the box gun on. I have a lot of the pieces and parts on the cab. So and there's still a lot of welding to go because a lot of these are kind of just tacked into place. But yeah, it's starting to get exciting. I can see the end product there.
Hey guys, so, oh, got a little dirty. Nice. So I'm in the truck right now and I'm going through some welding. Don't look at my ugly burn through hole. This is 16 gauge steel, so it's not the easiest to weld. But I'm stubborn. And I'm not claiming to be a big welder. I'm just kind of, I think anyone can do this if they put their mind to it. But basically, I just wanted to show you generally what I'm doing. So that way it can be flexible. And then this will be a step area, and then this will be the floor area. So the floor area will stand right here. So you'll be standing like this basically. And then I'm gonna have to crouch a little bit. But I wanted it to have under space storage. So down here, I'm gonna be able to fit 2 totes in each of these. And so I think that's really good storage because I basically want to have all my tools be able to be stored in here. And so in the 5th wheel, it's be able to be just all living stuff. So, and then so I have kind of this framed out too. So IBC, IBC, and then center area. So you can see right here, I have it marked out. Sorry, I'm doing a balancing act here. IBC end, IBC end. So this area here will be a flip open space you can climb down into. As you can see, I got to grind and re-weld some. So, not the best welder, never claimed to be. I just kind of learned it with this project, so I think I'm doing pretty well. And then, so you see the roof, so we kind of have it lightly framed in. But it's starting to get steady together, this whole thing. So this board here, this is going to give us a slight slope to both sides. So when we frame it with the regular roof, these 2x3s will be framed like that on the wall, but on the roof, but all the way across. And then we'll have a 2x3, and then a 1x3, and then something smaller. So that way the roof has a general slope to it, so that way we don't have to worry about water and all that as much and ruining the paint and all that. But yeah, so that's an update. I'm going to take some pictures outside the truck and then we'll go from there.
So this is basically with the truck metal all done except for the end flare pieces. So the end, the front part of the bed area and the back part of the cab area, and then some minor pieces. So this is almost all the way done. So I welded the back panels on. I wanted to get as much done inside as I could before I started doing that. And that upper back piece was the worst because I had no way to clamp it really well. And like I said before, I'm stubborn, so I'm not going to call people to help me. Um, so it was very difficult to make it align, and then I ended up welding it in place, and it was crooked. So if you see in the future of some like ghetto patch thing, that's why. Okay, because I started it a little crooked because I was too stubborn to get help, did it by myself. So make sure you have friends and you use them when you do a project like this.
So it's raining today, so it's not going to be the best. But so I this is at like a 60 degree angle here, so it's going to go up. So that way it breaks the wind a little bit. This is at a straight 90, so it's not like this thing's not going to be aerodynamic. It's, I mean, it's a 1960 truck, and so ideally you would have this go all the way down, but I'm working with the metal that I got. So I have this mostly welded. I have to grind through, but I want it mostly to be good for structurally, so I can get all the pieces into place. But so that's going out, and see, this is going to go wrap down like that on the bottom, and then this is going to go up to the top, and it will meet that corner there, and same thing over there. That corner will meet that corner, and then it'll wrap in a little bit, and then we'll have double layers of 12-inch looped EPDM, and that'll be our flex factor for the cab moving differently. So weld it down there, and then the same thing on the cab side. So that'll go in, the top will go in, the bottom will just go out a little bit, and then we'll have the flex there. So that's how that's working.
Hey guys, so that's all for this topic. I hope you enjoyed it. The next one we're gonna do is we're gonna actually add 5 windows to the box area. Um, so I'll post that in a couple days. I'm gonna post more regularly now, and then also we're also updating the fifth wheel at the same time, painting it, beautifying it. So I'll show you that stuff as well.